All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopefully elect. Coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And this lesson came through the spirit as I was on my way to the plantation today, and went to throw up a prayer, and I looked into the skies. I'm throwing up my prayer, and lo and behold, about 6:30 a.m. they got the CCs all in the air. Okay, imagine it's 6:30 a.m. Now, when you're dealing with the CCT, right? That's what they call it. It says the CCT is the erroneous belief that long-lasting condensation trails, or the CTs, consisting of chemical or biological agents left in the sky by high-flying aircraft, sprayed for nefarious purposes undisclosed to the general public. Believers in the CT say that while normal contrails dissipate relatively quickly, contrails that linger must contain additional substances. Those who subscribe to the theory speculate that the purpose of the C release may be solar radiation management, weather modification, psychological manipulation, human population control, biological or chemical warfare, or testing of biological or chemical agents on a population, and that the trails are causing respiratory illness and other health problems. The claim has been dismissed by a scientific community. There is no evidence that purported chemicals differ from normal water-based contrails routinely left by high-flying aircraft under certain atmospheric conditions. Although proponents have tried to prove that chemical spraying occurs, their analysts have been flawed or based on misconceptions. Because of the persistence of the CT and questions about the government involvement, scientists and government agencies around the world have repeatedly explained that the supposed the CTs are in fact normal contrails. Okay, now remember years back when I was first coming into the truth, I used to do a lot of research and on CTs, so to speak, and different things will pop up. And I came across this guy that worked, in that field. Okay, well now he will be called as a whistleblower, but he worked in that department, and he mentioned how they fly around in these these little jet or little airplanes, and their purpose is to what? Spray these trails all throughout the cities. And a lot of times you see this more in the urban type of areas, and as he was explaining it, there's two that I always remember of the two content that he mentioned that was being sprayed all throughout the skies, right? And look, there's more as I'm looking in the sky now. Okay, look like a tic-tac-toe board. But he mentioned two components, and one was aluminum and one was barium. Okay, now this guy worked in this department, in this field or agency for quite some time, so he knows what he's talking about. Okay, there should be no reason for these people to be running around spraying this, but we know why. Okay, and a lot of these CTs that they're mentioning of, okay, we know hold some weight. All right, we know they hold weight. So now, when let's go into, because they mentioned a few things, right? They mentioned how they said it could be solar radiation management, weather modification, which we know they got the HAARP devices or for that as well. It says psychological manipulation. Okay, because of what? It affects your brain and affects your mind when you breathe these different elements in, okay, or components that they have put together. Human population control, and what? Biological or chemical warfare, because that's what it is. All right, that's what it's, biological warfare. So when you go to, and I just typed in a few. So when you go to, it says breathing in aluminum fumes. It says symptoms of aluminum toxicity, such as anemia and impaired iron absorption, decrease the number of red blood cells. All right, so what's the symptoms you get? You get confusion, muscle weakness, bones that hurt, change shape or break, seizures, speech problems, slow growth in children. So you can see why they would want to spray, this type of a chemical in the air. Okay, because this destroys the people. Okay, it destroys the people. It keeps you sick. And now there's more you could probably go into it. All right, but this is just an example to show you of the things, how this chemical plays a part in destroying your body, right? Because over a period of time, if you inhale something long enough, it's going to build up and start to destroy your body, especially if you're not taking care of your body like the majority of these people don't. So when you go into barium, all right, I had something pulled up, barium. There's something else I had pulled up on barium. I can't find it. It's this. Let's see. Salakia, bear with me. Had something pulled up earlier, but it's basically going into how barium, the exposure of barium, or breathing in too much barium, of the different harmful effects that it can do to you. Okay, and all these different things over time, if you continue to breathe these things in, right? Because not only are you breathing these things in, the water you drink from has some form of it in it. Okay, things that you eat has some form of it in it. Okay, certain levels and certain things are higher than others, but still, these things are it's adding on to one to another. Oh yeah, this is what. Salaki, this is what I had. I had this clip up. Let's see. Here we go. So it says, how might I be exposed to barium? It says, ingesting small amounts present in your food and water, or breathing air containing very low levels of barium, right? That's how you can be exposed to it. And we are exposed to it on what? Everyday basis. All throughout the day, you can look in the sky, you can see the CTs being sprayed everywhere. Okay, so you're constantly, breathing in these fumes, because these particles that's in the sky, they drop down and they break down into your body, or they break down forms, but as they're breaking down, they're coming down low, you are inhaling them. It says, living in areas with usually high natural levels of barium in the drinking water, working in a job that involves barium production or use, living or working near waste sites where barium has been disposed of. Okay, so these are, this is how you might be exposed to it. Let's continue.
Working in a job that involves barium production or use, and living or working near waste sites where barium has been disposed of. There are a number of potential health effects due to exposure, which are shown on the screen. For example, inhaling barium can irritate the nose, throat, and lungs, and direct contact can irritate and burn the skin or eyes.
Right, so how you think they be having, we already know when is flu season, when is this season, when is that season, talking about dealing with colds, because they know, and they control, the effects of the people by just simply put different spraying different chemicals in the air, and I just mentioned the two. I don't know the other ones. I can't remember what that guy said, but these are the two that I was able to stick to remember with. So the health effects, you don't see, like even when the weather changes a little bit, and even so, just during the regular, when the weather's not changing, when it's still spring, you see, And we talk about even brothers in the truth that may be, have some form of good health, so to speak, right? Where brothers, got, may have stuffy nose or runny nose, or, may not can breathe very well, due to the different conditions. Okay, but a lot of this comes from the shit that we are inhaling. So it says, based on a limited human and animal data, the respiratory tract is the most sensitive target following inhalation exposure. You see, that's why Jake all fucked up, man. The people, all screwed up. The solubility of the barium compound is the gastrointestinal tract is an important factor affecting the development of adverse health effects. Compounds such as barium chloride and barium carbonate are generally expected to be a greater health concern than insoluble barium compounds. Notable barium sulfate, which are generally non-toxic to humans. The predominant effect following ingestion of high dose of barium is hypokalemia, which can result in ventricular tachycardia, hypertension, and or hypotension, muscle weakness, and paralysis. Animal studies suggest that the kidney is the sensitive target following long-term exposures of low levels of soluble barium compounds. You see? And this has been being sprayed in the air for forever. Okay, even since I was young, I didn't think nothing of it. I used to just look and say, well, what are those? They're just lines in the sky. But not knowing this devil had a reason, this devil had a plan to do these things, and was ultimately to what? To destroy the people. Okay? And like I said, a lot of this was set to be in the neighborhoods where the Israelites dwelt, where we dwelt at. Okay? Like in the inner cities. So let's get out of this. So really, dealing with this devil, I'm saying there's a war. There's a war out here, brothers and sisters. There's a war out here. Not only is there a war on our physical bodies, there's a war on our mental bodies, dealing with this devil. You see? And through all things, we must remember, we got to trust in the Lord at the end of the day. That we can just get through this, that we can continue to what? That we can continue to endure, all the madness that we got to deal with. The book of Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart and leave not, right? Lean not to thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Okay, so at the end of the day, we must continue to trust in Yahweh B'Shem Shai, that he is going to take care of us, that he is going to protect us, that he is going to be our defense against this devil. You see? Because this devil has made war with the saints. You see? His mindset is to what? To wear out the saints of the Most High, which are who? The Israelites. You see? And just because we know the truth or we're in the truth doesn't mean that we're not going to be acceptable to these things that is happening out here. Dealing with different diseases, dealing with different sicknesses, dealing with different, spirits, that's fighting against us. Yeah, we're going to be in the midst of these things or dealing, with these things. Okay? But we must what? We must overcome. You see? As the Lord gives us the strength through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All right? But we got to continue to trust in the Lord. And there's a lot of things that we know, that this devil is doing. And things that, the majority that we don't know. But we know we must continue to fight the good fight of faith. We know we must continue to keep striving to the truth until death. You see? Because as we're fighting against things, we know of, okay, and we can see, what about the things we can't? Right? Because this devil is dealing with some high-level witchcraft. Now, when you get the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, which this goes back to Esau, Edom, no other than him. against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So, like I mentioned before, man, there's a war going on. All right, there's a war. So we must put on our battle gear. We must put on that armor. You see? Put your flak jacket on, your helmet. All right, strap up your boots. We gotta what? We must gird up our loins, right? We must gird up our loins. So let's jump back to verse Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." This goes into what? The tricks, the trickery, the deception of this devil. You see? "So for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities, against powers, and against rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto the whole armor," right? To battle gear on. Take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, having done all to stand. You see? He's talking about getting bad already. But what must we do? We must get what? Spiritually bad already. Because this devil's about to come down with great wrath. Because why? He knows he got a short time. He knows his end is near. Okay? He knows. He sees the raising of the prophets, the men of the Lord. He sees us on the highways and byways. Okay? He see that the people of the world, even the people of the world, they call sheeple. To a degree, people are waking up to his BS, no longer believing his BS, questioning the belief system he has put out there, questioning just his laws or decrees within himself, and he doesn't like it. Okay? Because he don't want you to question these things. He wants you to just believe on what he says. Okay? Believe what he says, and it is good for you. So verse 13, it says, "Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take on the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High." And what else? What are you going to be doing within doing this? "Praying always with a prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all the perseverance and supplication for all saints." And prayer is very, very important. And we're going to need to pray more and more and more, even in these times to come. Okay? Praying for strength. Praying to continue to have the gift of faith. Praying to endure. You see? Praying to have patience. Praying to have temperance. Praying that you may remain solid. Okay? Solid in the strength of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Okay? So, like I said, Salakia, just a quick hit through the Spirit. As I say, I was making a prayer this morning, and I just looked up into the sky and I said, that's what I'll do a lesson on. Quick through the Spirit. Because I didn't have nothing on my mind. Okay, till I looked up and I said, you see, that's why we always got to continue to pray. Because this devil's out to get us, man. You see, on a whole nother level. And these are just things we see. But he's doing it on a scale which we don't see. So until next time, I want to say shalom.